Hey, this is Raven. Welcome to Lessons Learned once again, my YouTube channel. Hope you've been enjoying these other videos on parenting and such. Thought I'd give marriage and as far as partnership and marriage and that kind of thing, give it a shot. I'm out here outdoors. It's a beautiful, cool day in the North Carolina mountains, and you can see a nice background in the background there, the woods, and the sun's shining down on my head a little bit. So, I'm enjoying sitting out here, and I thought, well, what a better time, to come to you with another video. And this whole whole subject of marriage. First of all, let me say you can judge for yourself whether my credentials will stand as far as marriage. I have been divorced twice. First marriage, I was married 26 years and had 4 kids by that first wife. That I don't have to get into details about what happened there. But there was some infidelity and stuff on her part and things and different things, but that happened. But I learned a lot. I mean, the second marriage was just a mistake. It was just like it didn't even last 4 months. But I learned a lot from, and that's kind of what these videos are about. You guys can judge for yourself. Whether you want to listen to them or not. And whether you can make use of them or not. But one thing that I've learned, and I know this is going to go against a lot of traditional Christianity and go against the grain there and a lot, but a lot of people believe, and I came up in a home, in a church where they were very strict about marriage and that women were to be under submission to their husbands, and that was it. I mean, men were the head of the house and all that, and what he said goes, and there was just he was the king, he was God, or something in his home. That's the kind of way I came up, and there's some scriptures in the Bible, that seem like they say that, where it talks about, women should be under submission to their husband, they should reverence their husbands, but along with those same scriptures, if people would just really actually read them and not listen to the traditions that they've been taught, then you could also see that the whole chapters are all about submitting to one another. It talks about submitting to your brothers and sisters. It talks about, servants submitting to masters. It talks about, the man submitting to Christ, and about the woman submitting to Christ and submitting to one another. And that's really what it's about. It's not in any kind of marriage. I mean, it should be a partnership. I mean, who in the world, would even agree with or think it even makes sense, or that the Bible would even teach that a man is just going to, no matter what he says, that goes, for over a woman. I mean, that don't make any sense. I mean, because there's too many men that are jerks. There's too many men that are abusive. And I've even been in churches where they've told them, well, you still need to stay, together with them. You need to work things out, and, you need to still listen to your husband and all this stuff, while they're getting abused. I mean, that's just bad advice. I mean, I definitely think you should give your marriage every chance that you can. But I believe, and my wife believes too, that I have now. We've been married like, about 4 years at this recording, and we believe that, sometimes you do marry the wrong person. I mean, she was in an abusive situation, emotionally, somewhat physically too, but mostly emotionally. No respect, in her marriage. No respect, to their daughter, and he wasn't doing his part in the home, and he was being unfaithful, and I've had similar situations, in some of my marriages, and what we've got now is really genuine, and we got something to compare it to. I can see the difference in what a marriage should be. And one of the things that helps us is one of our philosophies is we don't need each other, but we want each other, and we're better together than we are apart. It's not, I know good and well that she can make it on her own. I know she can pay the bills, and she can work a job, and she can provide for herself, and she's smart and talented in a lot of different ways. I know she don't need me. And I'm the same way. I mean, I can make it on my own. I was raising 3 boys by myself when the first wife left and all that, and I know I can do it. I mean, I was raising them basically by myself even when I was married to her. So, but that's just another subject. But the point is though that we don't have to have each other. We both can make it on our own, but we're better together than we are apart. And we honor that. We respect one another. We respect one another in a lot of different ways. I believe that when you talk about submission, that you submit to one another's gifts. You don't submit to the person themselves. because we're all human beings. We all have flaws. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all got times of selfishness. Some of us more selfish than others. And and I think it's just, we just got to admit to that, and we're two flawed human beings that are living together, and we're trying to figure it all out as we go, and that's what we got to do. But you submit to one another's gifts. Like if she's better at making money and she's making more money than me, I'm not going to be jealous of that as a man. But traditionally, a lot of men would resent that, because they feel like they wasn't providing for their family or something. But that's just not true. If she just happens to fall into a position where she can make more money, then then I should honor that and respect that, and do my part, of course. It's the same with me. I mean, I have lots of different gifts. I write. I'm an entrepreneur. I have to chase a dollar most of the time, but I'm teaching, I'm writing, I'm doing lots of different things, to bring in money. And, and she submits to my gifts on those areas, and any kind of major decisions, we talk about them. As far as finances, we got an agreement, if it's over $25, $50, and, we ought to talk about it. If it comes to loaning somebody, outside the immediate family some money, we should talk about it. If it comes to borrowing money, then we need to talk about it. If it comes to, having pets or whatever, then we need to talk about it. I mean, these are all things, that this just shows respect for one another, because these are all things that will affect both of us. But I mean, I don't expect her to come to me and get my permission to go buy makeup or to buy a new dress or to go to her mom's or something like that. I mean, yeah, I want to plan ahead. I mean, we got to touch base with each other on our calendars, and keep each other informed about where we're going to be, and make sure that our calendars don't clash and that kind of thing. So we respect one another in that way. But as far as this stuff, I hear it all the time, and people think it's funny. But it's not, especially with men. I hear, well, if my wife will let me. Well, I hear women say it too. I mean, I don't think my husband will let me do that. But what kind of relationship is that? I mean, nobody can make somebody do anything. I mean, you're not in a good relationship if you got that kind of relationship. And it needs to be like two friends. I mean, do you have control over each other? It should be more like, we don't have to get permission from one another. We just honor one another. We respect one another. But don't go saying stuff like that. I mean, it just sounds weak and spineless to be able, when you're saying stuff like that, when you're saying, well, they won't let me go, that kind of thing. I mean, if you're that beaten down, then you've got problems in your relationship anyway. They say, well, who wears the pants in the family? I mean, that's all traditional stereotypes, and we're reinforcing those stereotypes when we say that. Because who wears the pants in the family? Well, the man wears the pants in the family. Well, I got, as we all know, women have been wearing pants for years, so pants don't have anything to do with it. Gender don't have anything to do with it. It should be a partnership. We're partners in business, we're partners in life, we're partners in marriage, we're partners in parenting. We talk about things equally, we look at each other equally. Nobody should be over anybody else. We should submit, like I said, to one another as far as gifts go, and support one another. If somebody's good at something, then you support them in it, because you're both going to benefit from it in the long run. So, I mean, it's best to support one another and be submissive to one another in those areas, and let each other, explore that creativity and stuff. I mean, I don't, and, it's jealousy and stuff. I mean, even the Bible says jealousy is as cold as the grave. I mean, what in the world are you being jealous for? I mean, some people almost consider it like it's a compliment or something, but it's not. I mean, you can't be jealous. I mean, my wife's a hugger, and she hugs everybody, and I mean, if I freaked out every time she hugged some guy, I mean, what kind of man would I be? I think that most men can't handle a strong woman. That, and I'm not talking about just somebody hateful, rebellious. I'm talking about, women. There's plenty of strong women that are, we are benefiting from their gifts. I mean, there's women that are doctors. I mean, they talk about this glass ceiling and stuff, and how that women are paid less than men, and and that's probably the case, in corporate America, and it's probably still a lot of case. I mean, and I'm against all that for sure, because I mean, it should be, if you can do the job, it shouldn't matter what gender you are. It shouldn't matter. There shouldn't be any kind of bias. I don't care how old you are, what color you are. It shouldn't be any kind of bias. You should say, here's the requirements of the job. Can the person do this job? And if they can, whoever they are, then let them have the job, and they should get the same amount of pay, as whatever the job is offering. I don't know what the big deal on that, who started that, but but it all started, I guess, when a lot of it's got to do with religious traditions and keeping control. I mean, there was, especially in this country, I mean, I hate to admit it, I'm white. I'm a white male. I mean, I'm Native American too, but I mean, it's like Native American. I mean, like white males were dominant or something, and you had you look at the old 50s TV shows, the man worked and the woman stayed home, and she always looked good, and she brought up the man his pipe and slippers when he got home and had his supper ready. But I mean, none of us that are living today much know that kind of life, and I don't know of too many people that actually did live a life like that. But we get these stereotypes in our head though, and we think that well, that makes us, that whoever's on the top at the top there, then that makes them better or something. But that's not the case. And we've got to get off of this whole idea of one person being better than another, being over one another, and that kind of thing. We just need to. Even the Bible says, "Do everything you do as unto God." I mean, that's a good philosophy. I mean, even if you're not a Christian, it's a good philosophy because you don't have to do it to please her. He don't have. You don't. She don't have to do it to please him. You're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. You're doing it because it honors that higher power, that God. And it works out all the way around because people sense the respect that they did. Men should never be like dominant. Women should never be dominant. There's abuse in homes that are even women abusing men. I mean, I've seen it too many times. Funniest thing, I don't know, I guess she was a great aunt or something like that, but she nagged her husband bad. I mean, they're probably in their 70s, maybe 80s, I don't know now, but sometimes they're funny to watch because he has hearing aids, and he had his hearing aids turned down so he wouldn't have to hear her running her mouth. And until she called him and she said, "Bobby, you got your hearing aids turned off. Turn them things back on." It's, it's kind of funny to think about, but it's sad too, right? Because I mean, that's how bad it can get. I mean, there's definitely issues that somebody has if they have to like dominate and be dominant over someone else and put somebody else down. It just shouldn't be the case. I'm gonna try to talk more in detail about this, but maybe it'll get you thinking about some things, and and if I have any more thoughts on it, then I'll come to you about it. I know there's a lot more to it than that, but be sure and visit my website, waytheraven.net. Read my books. I've got several books out. I've got some blogs there. You can just click on the buttons to my blogs, and you can read several different blogs I have. Buy my books. I've got them on survival. I've got them on relationships. I've got them on Bible. I've got a fantasy series that I'm really loving writing. Book 6 comes out in my fantasy series, Raven Quest. It's real popular right now. And, so, check it out. And, if you got any comments or questions, you can put comments below. You can email me too at raven@waytheraven.net. And it's good talking to you.